We call Jesus' crucifixion his passion, but we use that word today quite differently than the ancients did. We say things like, I'm really passionate about photography. We use the word passion to relate things we really, really like. But the word passion comes from the Latin passio, meaning willing to suffer for. Lasting legacy is always tied to passion. Everyone who's ever shaped history did so through willing suffering. They had something outside of themselves worth suffering for. So what are you passionate about? What are you willingly suffering for, honestly? Maybe to some degree you will willingly suffer for career accolades. Maybe you'll endure spurts of willing suffering to make your body look the way you want it to. Or you'll suffer to prove yourself to him or her or them. See, we live in a city and at a time and in a culture that suffers for things with an expiration date. Because no one reads off your resume at your funeral, and no one's summer body looks tight in the nursing home. And no one's paying attention to whatever you're proving except for you, because we're all just as insecure as you are trying to prove our own thing. In a city that is obsessed with comfort and averse to suffering, those who live by passion will shape history. Those who live by passion get to write the story. So, what's God calling me to do? That's that question, that million-dollar question that paralyzes so many of us, right? Should I live in this city or take this job? Should I pursue this relationship or marry this person? Should I make this change? What's God calling me to do? It's a good question, one that emerges from a well-meaning place. A mentor of mine answers it in a surprisingly direct way. Well, yeah, sure. I guess I could pray for you about that, but why don't I just save us both a little bit of time and tell you? Tell me. Yeah, I know what God's calling you to do. Okay, what is it? God's calling you to be a worship leader, but not the kind that holds a guitar. God's calling you to spend yourself on behalf of the poor, to feed the hungry and clothe the naked, to shelter the houseless. Your call is to learn the names of your neighbors and care about how they're doing. It is to pray so hard that your tears say what your words can't. Your call is to listen presently and attentively to the burdens of your friends, to listen especially to those you disagree with, letting story turn caricature into humanity. It is to preach the gospel in winsome ways most of the time, in a few awkward ways in the exception moments. It's to love the person hardest for you to love and forgive the person who won't admit that they've wronged you in the first place. It's to endure personal embarrassment so someone else doesn't have to, and to get beyond your comfort zone to enter his or hers. Your call is to read Scripture constantly enough, slowly enough, that God's reality is the one that lives in you. It's to share a prophetic word because it might be way off, but it just might be God. It's to pray for healing even when it didn't work last time, and to use your voice to advocate for the silenced. Your call is to hug that woman who's a hugger and fist bump the guy who barely even wants you to do that. It's to unload the dishwasher when you did not dirty a single one of those dishes, and to wipe the toilet seat when someone else's kid made the mess. It's to visit your sick friend in the hospital and call your mom to see how she's doing. It's to get to know an incarcerated individual by name and to keep on gathering in your community, even when they're underwhelming and awkward and difficult and their social media posts make you want to set your hair on fire. Your call is to live today like God is Father, and everyone around you is sister or brother, and to really believe that that is enough to renew the whole of creation, because he has filled you with his Spirit and called you to be his witness. Church, here is your call. It's powerful love and suffering love to the ordinary people who make up your ordinary life. The way we say that around here is do what Jesus did. And don't forget that as you do, you're being cheered on by a great cloud of witnesses who have gone there before and lived this life of passion and say, this is life and life to the full. So give it all away. Every last bit, everything you've got, give it away so that you can finally be full.